Please listen to this. This is the founder of the Eden Project, so a man who knows about environmentalism better than most, who says today that he thinks there has never been a more exciting time to be alive. I asked Sir Tim Smith to justify that assessment to the despairing climate activists.
I'm not 24, I'm an old fart, and I have the benefit of traveling around a lot and seeing a lot of amazing things that are going on. One of the problems we face, and I'm sure you would agree, even if it feels just a little bit self-critical, is that we live in an age where the media lives by a mantra of if it bleeds, it leads. Therefore, we face a consistent barrage of stories about how we are doomed. And let me give you a context for this. Part of my family is Maldivian. My son is married, in fact, to the Minister of Climate Change from the Maldives. So I face, in terms of prospect, a situation where my grandchildren may end up without a country. Put that against a world in which, say, at the Eden Project, we have, over this last year, dug a hole 5.3 kilometers deep. We've got temperatures of 187 degrees. We'll be completely energy independent by the middle of next year. And I look at a country in which I really wish people would understand that we could transform ourselves in a speed unbelievably fast. The major thing that we need to do is to ask ourselves a question. If we were living 50 years from now and able to speak to us as we live now, would we not be begging our generation to borrow from the future in order that they may have one? I promise you we could be energy independent by the year 2030.
Yes, I saw that. I saw that. And again, speaking to that 24-year-old, to that sense of despair that those climate change protesters feel. Indeed, Emma, coming out of the mouth of the UN General Secretary this afternoon, saying that we are on a highway to climate hell with our foot on the accelerator. How does Britain become energy independent in 8 years?
How? In a mixture of deep geothermal, solar and wind, as well as a new age development in thorium-based nuclear, small micronuclear, which means that we can actually create a muscular local economy. The context of this is technological breakthroughs, agricultural breakthroughs, 3D printing, all of these things coming together at a time to make technologies affordable, to be able to make ourselves feed each other, feed ourselves globally, and also to be able to create unlimited renewable energy. My great regret is that we seem to have lost the power of leadership. This isn't a personal statement about politicians, but whenever I hear people talk about politics being the art of the possible, I'm absolutely gobsmacked at how low the benchmark has been set. Isambard Kingdom Brunel would be turning in his grave if he saw the lack of our ambition.
Well, you say the awkward squad who drives such innovation, quote, are being winkled out of government because it's so much easier to have consensus. Consensus on what?
It's consensus on how we can't do things, how we can't organize ourselves, how we can't transform an agricultural system in a period of time that is suitable for us to be able to, if you like, roll back the direction of climate change. But it's not just climate change, as you know. I mean, we use climate change almost as a catch-all phrase. We've got huge biodiversity loss. We've got our water table is being damaged, and our air is being polluted. Look, I think the greatest battle for our generation is to take these issues out of politics. We have been dominated by a fossil fuel type argument, which has meant that the sort of things I'm talking about are always seen as being a bit lefty. Even now, you get that sort of thing. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, crikey, we are looking at a Britain at the dawn of a brand new era. It's the dawn of a green enlightenment. And it's being sold to us as if it's costs. Whose costs precisely? If you have accountants who can only add up the cost of doing things as opposed to the cost of not doing things, then yes. But actually, the prospect of actually having a revolutionary approach to energy, let's give you some context. If we were energy independent, completely energy independent, fuel, as in electricity, would be as cheap or expensive as you would like. There is nothing you could not grow. We're demonstrating at Eden the power of this technology. So it's about doing it. I mean, we can do it.
But let me put this to you, Sir Tim, that you have painted a picture of, or told a story of, massive technological change that is either already there or about to come to fruition, that were it to be harnessed by people who actually led on these matters rather than those who were incrementalists, this could happen really much more quickly than it's currently scheduled to. But I put it to you that you are suffering from hopium. You are head in the sand about the realities of actually making this happen, and it's all very well saying, oh, but only if this were possible, then we could do it.
Hang on, I know that you're being controversial with me, but let me explain. We fought for 10 years to raise the money to do deep geothermal. The pressures that were on ministers, on others to say, oh, this was pie in the sky, we've now done it. It works. It just works. And the vested interest, I'm sounding like a political lefty here, but bear in mind the power of the old industries that dominate us still. I believe that we can do this by 2030. It's not hopium. We dug our hole in 6 months. You can do it all over this country. I've got a friend who has got the world's biggest deep geothermal company. He's dug 380 holes, 2.5 kilometers down in China, and in so doing has taken various cities off coal power stations.
Wow. But why don't we hear about this? Why isn't this the story that's told? Why isn't that persuasive to the 24-year-old who would otherwise take themselves onto a motorway gangplank and hold up motorways all day?
Because the old farts like me seek to want to hold on to their certainties of what the future is and what the truths of realpolitik are. We need to shuffle off and let younger people take over some of these things. I'm talking here about the spirit rather than just the tree years, the tree rings in our souls. Youngsters are our hope. But, you know, sorry, I get really cross about this because this isn't a fantasy. Why do we get up in the morning as a species? We're an inventive, imaginative ape. And if all we do is to actually be trapped into a world of consumerism, we will die. If we can actually get ourselves organized into a sense of the citizen, we will thrive. If anything, the pandemic taught us something fantastic, which was actually nature is nurturing, but also we suddenly started to realize we want to be independent and reliant where we are. All these global systems to feed us and to fuel us are actually on the verge of coming to an end. I promise you, if you move to St Austell in Cornwall, within 15 years, there will be no supply chain hardly because it will be all done by 3D printing. Our partners in a company called Volvo are not expecting to even have a supply chain in 17 years from now. The jobs that are going to be taking up the world over the next 5 years are being invented as we speak. The increase in land fertility is going to be very significant if we stop farming it the way we have been and stop pumping chemicals into the soil. I mean, you could write this script, I know. My job is simply to say the difference between me and a lot of holy rollers is we took a derelict clay pit with mineral weeps that was 60 meters deep and created life in it. We created great design in it. We grow the greatest collection of plants economic to human beings in it, and they are very, very healthy. We then dug a really big hole to make ourselves energy independent, and we've got 6,000 square meters of growing area in which we are going to demonstrate that there is nothing that you cannot grow in Britain with affordable energy.
The entrepreneur and environmentalist behind the Eden Project, as well as many others, Sir Tim Smith. who, to be honest with you, I could listen to all week, frankly. And I think he is absolutely right about what can be achieved if the achievement is what people, humans, scientists, engineers, physicists set their minds to actually do. It would have to, I think, to a degree, ignore the politicians, where in the main the problem seems to lie. But I really want to hear more of the changes that are coming, the industrial revolution, the technological revolution that is underway now, that is going to make a massive difference, particularly when it comes to climate change. As Kathy says here, why isn't Sir Tim in charge? Asked Kathy. It's a good question.